Greetings friends, Jared here with another review from Fanboys Forever, and today we're actually going to be having a look at the brand new Baron Benz and the Aquaticons Tectonic Disruptor edition. And here is the new artwork that you get when you first open the box. So let's go ahead and have a look at the figure. And there he is, the brand new iteration of Baron Benz. So Baron Benz appears to be part of a group called the Aquaticons. Apparently the Krieg, which are the kind of alien bounty hunters, hunted them all down except for Baron Benz himself. So now, here in the Mezco Rumble Society of figures, which are Mez's own creations, we have this really awesome original character that we're going to be discussing today. Now, there is a previous version of this character, and I thought that it looked really neat. I thought it had a great look to it. But when they shown off this black and red version, I was so excited because this was more of a color scheme that really appealed to me. Plus, it came with some very awesome accessories that the original did not. The way that this was sold was through the Slugfest Emporium, which is kind of like the pop-up store on the Mezco site. They gave a very brief warning that this was going to be going on sale. I was able to get an order in, and they shipped it to me at light speed. So really happy to get this thing. Of course, this is not provided by Mezco. This is my own purchase. And just so you can see real quick, this is the little Metsit that you get. So lately, they've been doing new color variations, and this is really cool looking. All right, friends, without further ado, let's get right into the figure. So first off, let's just talk a little bit about some of the sculpting that we see here from Mezco. You can see that he is very much kind of like a turn-of-the-century diver, very much like one of those old diving suits that you would see with all the big kind of poofy outfit and all the gear and everything. And this is one of those figures that I am very glad that it is a soft goods type of thing, and it lends itself very well to soft goods because those old diving suits from that era are very much like this, where they're big and kind of puffy, and doing any kind of fabric outfit at this scale, it always runs the risk of being kind of overly large and a little bit bulky. So why not lean into that with a character that that's pretty much, how they're supposed to look. So love this, and I love the overall look. As for the sculpt itself, we'll start with this one of many head sculpts that you get with the character. And if you don't like this one, stick around. You can see that it's kind of like a tall head here, and it looks very, very alien. And I love all the lights at the top, or energy sources, or whatever they're supposed to be. We have a really cool visor here, and it appears to be some kind of decal in there, maybe. Not exactly, I wouldn't necessarily call it a sticker, but it's certainly a decal in there. We have a really cool looking breathing apparatus here. So I think that looks really neat. That detail that's on the helmet continues all the way around, as you can see. And on the back, we get even more kind of Kirby-esque details. That leads me to this backpack right here, and this looks really neat. We'll be getting into more of its function later. And some different pads and things on the biceps. And on the front, this is really the main thing, which is kind of like a collar piece that just sets up here. And it looks really great. Like I said, it kind of puts me in the mind of old diving suits, and this is where, the big bulbous helmet would attach to on one of those. And on the belt down here, we definitely have some very Jack Kirby kind of angles on the belt. This guy kind of looks like one of the New Gods, or maybe someone from Apocalypse more accurately, with the very dark and kind of more edgy color scheme. And that's something that I think is very evident on this figure, that there's more of a Jack Kirby influence in terms of art design. And I would love to hear from Mez if that was his intention with this character and some of the artists at Mezco. Boots are really nice. This is, as you can see with the light here, looks like a decal that's been applied. The belt buckle there, so that's interesting. And this is the back of the boots as well. So overall, I think, the bodysuit is definitely one of the simpler ones that we've seen in terms of soft goods from Mezco. But I actually really like that because it allows kind of the sculpted bits to really shine and be sort of the detail points of the figure. It has a really great just presence. I mean, you stand him here and you have the added height from the helmet. And not only that, but, with the more dynamic colors that you get here, because I really like the original, but I just didn't feel that the blue was quite dynamic enough for my taste. We'll go ahead and pop off the head. Like I said, he comes with a variety of heads, and these are all very interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look. As you can see, he does have kind of like a leather collar here. So I think that's pretty interesting. And it's just stitched all the way to the back, and that leads to kind of a leather front plate right there. So just a little bit of variety there. I suppose that's meant to cover any seams or anything you might see between the heads. So this is the next head, and just like the previous one, these were both included in the original Baron Benz release, only they're in this brand new color scheme. And I absolutely love this. It's more of a traditional diver's helmet, except he's kind of went a little Cthulhu right here. You have the little tentacles coming out of the front of the mouth. It's very, like, you guys remember the Legion of Doom from the old Super Friends cartoon. It looks very much like the Darth Vader head that they all had as their lair. You can see that you can almost see the hatch on the side as if it were a little submarine itself. Really like the orange eyes on this. This is a head, I think, maybe more than the other even, that benefits really from this brand new color scheme. So it just has this really lovely look to it. And I think just the contrast here is the thing that really sells it for me. So I think it looks great. It's definitely, I think he's a little more threatening with this head and a little more kind of, you know, pulpy with the other. So the next head we'll be talking about is this awesome unmasked head. Now previously, we really didn't exactly know what was under Baron Ben's helmet. So it was a big surprise when this version came around. I think it was first seen when it was in a giveaway, and somebody got it early. So this head is just awesome, though. I'm definitely getting more of a 90s Aquaman vibe here, and considering the nature of this character, that surely can't be a coincidence. But I really also like the color scheme that we're seeing. And as you can clearly see here, it's very much an inhuman kind of color scheme, almost as if Baron Benz is more of a specter of some sort. So I just love it, although it's probably more alluding to him being part of a race of underwater people, and that's probably what they're getting at with the Aqua Knight concept. But I love the stern expression, and you know, it's just that usual quality Mezco work that we kind of have learned to take for granted after a while. But this is awesome, and it's one of those weird cases where I'll be hard-pressed to even, you know, keep the helmet on him because this head looks so great. And what's great, though, is that you can still display your helmets. And all you have to do is put one of the spare heads in his hands and act as if he's taken his helmet off, and you instantly have something that's just, you know, diorama worthy. So it looks fantastic. So honestly, just the one unmasked head with this new version would have been probably enough of a selling point to release an exclusive, but they really did go above and beyond with this other brand new unmasked head, and it's Baron Ben's Yelling, and I think it looks epic. The other, you know, is very lovely, but this kind of amps it up to the next level. And it's just so much ferocity in this. And these heads could be a great starting point for them if they did want to do 90s Aquaman, because, I mean, it's very much an Arthur Curry kind of, you know, look here. So I really love this, and it looks maybe even better than the other. I don't know. I'm going to be hard-pressed to figure out which one to put on this guy. And just for reference, here is the other helmet that he can kind of just keep if you want to have it on display like this, so that he can hold the helmet and be yelling at someone, maybe at Krieg 13 as he comes to take him on. I don't know, in my headcanon, I'm going to say that Krieg 13 shown up to try to kill him when he was in the blue outfit. He got his armor damaged, and he built this when he was searching through the tectonic plates that were separating under the sea, and forged it out of some of the minerals and some of the rock that he found down there. Huh? What do you think? Come on, Mez, hire me. For now, I'm just going to go back to the original head that he was packed with, and we'll talk about articulation very briefly. So the head can, of course, go all the way around, but that's kind of limited with some of the heads with hair on it, particularly this unmasked head. You don't want to go too wild because you have some very thin strands of hair down there, and you don't want to break those off by doing anything stupid. So I would just be careful with those, but this one does have full range. You even have quite a bit of tilt, a little bit of looking up action, a little bit of looking down action. So it looks really nice. The one thing that would be a problem is if you're having him swim, it would be kind of difficult to angle it up very much, but you can probably get it just enough to make it convincing. After that, we get just some shoulder movement, and we can go up like this. So they look pretty good. You can almost get them in a T-pose there. And you can twist it about this much, and I'm sure that if you work with the sleeve a little bit, you can get the arm up quite a bit higher than that. But I'm just showing you what's doable with the soft goods just comfortably. And that's really about it. So it's kind of unfortunate that it's a little hindered. But like I said, probably if you twist the sleeve around, you can kind of work with that. But that's kind of stops right there. You have a bicep swivel in there somewhere. But the thing is, it's being hindered by this plate because it's attached to the shoulder. So that's really not something you can get too much out of, but you can get a little bit because it gets hindered just a little by the shoulder pad right there. You do get probably a double joint, but I really can't tell. And it really doesn't matter because the gauntlet is meeting the biceps there. So you really can't do much. You do get a swivel and a hinge there at the wrist. You do get a diaphragm joint, and you can go forward about that much, and you can go back about that much. You can go a little side to side, and of course, you can swivel it, but this is about how much you can get this way. This is about how much you can get this way. The bodysuit hinders it a little. Moving on down, we do get a kick. He does get to 90 degrees fairly comfortably. And moving down, he does have a thigh swivel right there. You do get what appears to be, a double joint, so he can almost kick his butt. You do get a kind of boot cut right there. You also get a sort of ankle hinge, but we know that the ankle hinges on some of these Mezco figures can be a little finicky. When it comes to the splits, he can go out about this much, and that's probably about it that you can do comfortably. So overall, there's plenty of articulation here for probably most of the things you're going to want to do. But like I said, when it comes to raising those arms up a little bit, you're going to have to probably try to twist the fabric around just a tad and come up with some concessions on exactly the best way to do that. So just be aware of that as you pose them. All right, and we'll switch the head out for the next segment, which we're going to be talking about his accessories. So we'll go ahead and go with his, I call it the Legion of Doom head, like I said earlier. You do get several of the Aquaticons, which are the fish that he has, and they appear to be robot fish, so you can see right here. Everybody needs just a good robot fish around, just as a friend for someone to talk to. But I love the colors on these guys, tons more than I did on the original release, which I never did own, but, just going by pictures. The jaw is hinged right here. You have a little light like a deep sea fish might use. And I love how the fins are actually transparent. So this looks fantastic. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Aquaticon fish.
The number of the day is 4.
So you can see right here that I just set these guys down and they had no problem staying up. So I was actually surprised by that. I thought they would flop right over, if you'll excuse the expression. And for this little bag of kind of like posing wires, they're kind of metal and they hold their own. And they look like little tubes here, like little black tubes. There's different sizes. There's small ones and medium ones and really large ones. And the idea, I believe, anyway, from what I can tell, is that there's all these little connection points that's like on the back of the figure, and particularly on this cylinder right here. You can see the little hole and some of these other holes. And I think the idea is that you're supposed to be able to take that and place it and connect like the backpack to the belt or this helmet with some of these points right here, like this one, and be able to kind of plug that in. I'm not really sure that I'm going to use those because I don't really know if he needs it. I may put 1 or 2 on. Particularly, I may connect that cylinder with one of these helmets, but then again, that'll make it a little difficult to switch out the heads, but it might be something I do. I just thought I'd mention it in case that's something that you want to do. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you like or something you frequently do with your Baron Bens. So in terms of accessories, he does come with a variety of hands. You get one that's, of course, an open hand, and I really like the detailing on the glove here. And you get a couple of open hands just to hold accessories. You don't get anything with a trigger finger or anything like that because he doesn't have a gun. And for the accessories that you'll be using with those open hands is you get this really cool staff that Baron Bens uses. Love this thing. So I'll go ahead and switch out, which it's very easy to switch out the hands, so that's always good. That's something I've never had an issue with on any Mezco figure I've owned. Switching out heads and hands don't seem to ever really be a problem, and I'm really glad that the Mezco company makes sure that that's a pretty much painless experience. So you can see that that gives him just a dash of more of that orange color, which I think looks fantastic. He also comes with this, which I may like even more. It's this gnarly anchor that looks like it's lit up with kind of a tectonic energy, like magma or something, like right inside of it. You have a cool actual metal goods chain right here, and this just looks great. Now you could wrap this thing around, or as I will probably do, I'll probably have it wrapped around the Baron himself, I'll probably have it wrapped around the Baron. So I'll probably bring it around like this. And it's fascinating what all you can do with this thing, because I'm sure you can get some really cool looks. And we'll just switch the other hand out to the holding hand. And now we have the Baron all decked out. And I absolutely love this because, you know, you can position the chains and really get them into some 90s comic book looking situations. So I'm going to have a tremendous amount of fun just kind of toying with that chain and trying different things out. You do have a pretty big loop at one end of the chain down here. So it should be fun to see what you can do with that and kind of see what you can hang it on throughout the armor. There's different spots, like here on the gauntlet, you can just hang it there. Could just help with dynamic displays and things of that nature. So I think that's a good option at least. Another accessory that you get is the base stand. I like the art on here, and it reflects the new colors. And this insane net, and it's really large, so it's kind of hard to show the whole thing at once, but I'm kind of folding it over double. You have these kind of metal weights that are woven into the bottom, to each side of the net here. So you have 3 on one side and 3 on the other right here. And, you know, I'll just use the Baron himself. And of course, you know, you can put it over a figure like this. And it honestly kind of looks neat, like over him, as if it was some kind of camouflage. But I know that the idea is he's supposed to use this to capture his foes. So you could put this over Krieg 13, and I think it might look pretty cool. So a really cool accessory that you get, and I always love it when Mezco includes these kinds of things, is this really awesome like magma plume that you would see if, I suppose, you were watching tectonic plates separate at the bottom of the ocean. And I love this because you can tell that there's a little bit of transparency right there. And I always love how these seem to be like a combination of a certain color of plastic and some paint work to get some really cool effects. So you can have it, you know, like hide behind it, or especially put it in the background. There's just enough room on the base stand where you can get some cool stuff with that. You can actually do something else with it. This works as a display stand for the Aquaticons, so check it out. You have these little indentions right here in the plastic, and this is kind of more of a packaging plastic. It's not very hard plastic, it's very lightweight. And we can just set those into those grooves, and it's not completely a perfect fit, but they go in there well enough. What's cool is they actually have a slot for all 4, so I actually think that looks terrific. And one quick comparison that we'll be doing is with Krieg 13, since that is technically his rival. I think they look fantastic together, especially since they're both wearing kind of those black color schemes with the red as well. So I think that that would be a really cool look to have them both kind of having a massive showdown with these outfits on. Well, friends, I hope you've enjoyed this special look at Baron Benz and the Aquaticons, the Tectonic Disruptor edition. I know that this is a super cool figure, and I'm really glad to finally add it to my collection. Of course, I'm especially excited to have this since we know that in the recent comics, Krieg 13 is indeed kind of the archenemy of Baron Benz. Like I said, I feel like this is a Rocky 3 situation where he gets beaten by Krieg and then comes back stronger than ever in his new armor. So that's just kind of my headcanon for the character. I think the look is really striking. I think there's something about this one that really gets the job done. I'm a real sucker for the black armor variations of these characters. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. God bless you and yours, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Fanboy out.